friends, welcome back. So I saw recently on Lou's channel, I'll leave her linked down below, she did a fun new Christmas tag. It's called the Christmas Nativity book tag. So she had actually asked a few of us for some help, and so I pitched in and I helped her with a few ideas, and she put together this really great tag. So I am going to do the tag now. Some of these questions were really hard. I really wanted to pick mostly not from my favorites shelf because I wanted to talk about books that I haven't talked about in a long time. But some of them I just couldn't find anything on my shelf that would work. So I did my best. So question number 1. The Angel Gabriel, a story that shares the good news of salvation. I actually want to go with this trilogy. The Diamond of the Rockies trilogy by Kristen Heitzman. I've chosen this series because, okay, so we start off with our main girl. Her name is Karina, right? She ends up in this small town kind of unwillingly, and she has to stay for reasons. And then it's basically the part that shows more of the salvation story, or somebody coming to salvation, is when she's, I guess, forced into an arranged marriage or a marriage of convenience, and the struggle that her husband has from the life he has lived and the way he was raised, and just, yeah, he's had a hard life, and from her kindness and allowing God to shine through her, she helps her husband through some things. So I really love this series. It is on my favorite shelf, but I would highly recommend, if you like historical fiction at all, check out this series. Next question, No Room in the Inn, a book that's too big to fit on your shelf standing up. Now the bookshelf behind me I built, so I could have built the shelves whatever size I wanted them to be. And then the Billy bookcases from IKEA, you can adjust those. So technically there are no books that could not fit on a shelf, right? Because you can make the shelf whatever you want. But we're gonna go with my biggest book, and that is this Christmas Treasures Norman Rockwell book. I showed this to you guys in my Christmas books video. I'll leave that linked as well. And I just think this is such a beautiful book, and like the gold edges, and it's just pretty. So this is a fairly large book, and it would not fit on these shelves, so I think it works. Question number 3, Wrapped in Swaddling Clothes, a book that gives you a cozy feeling. Okay, again, okay, I'm just gonna go with the one that came to me first, okay? And that's going to be The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. And I really don't understand when people label a book cozy. Like, what does that even mean, right? Like, you can read any book when you're physically in a cozy situation, like on the couch, in a blanket, in your bed, something like that. You can read any book. So I have a hard time pinpointing what does a cozy book mean. So what I am going to how I'm going to approach this is, this book, I listen to the audiobook because this is in first person and I can't read first person, so I have to listen to the audiobook. When I listen to this audiobook, it just feels like, oh man, maybe it has to do with the first time I listened to this book. My husband and I were on our road trip to the mountains. It was snowing. It was for our anniversary, so it was really nice vibes. So maybe it has something to do with my first experience with this book has really helped me enjoy it every time I read it since. It could be something like that. It could be like cozy vibes from feeling like when we were in the hotel. I mean, I love being in hotels and it's cold outside, so you kind of like stay indoors. I don't know. Cozy. I love the narrator's voice. I think what I'm gonna say about this one is it feels, when I re-listen to this audiobook, it feels like I'm reconnecting with a friend. That's what it feels like to me. So we're gonna say that that's cozy. I don't know. Next question. The Manger, a main character with humble beginnings. I did tell you guys that I tried to get books not on my favorite shelf, but so far, not doing so well. So for this one, we're going with Assassin's Apprentice. And to be fair, I haven't talked about Robin Hobb in a long time because I haven't been able to get my hands on Golden Fool, which is the next book that I'm up to in this series. But I love The Realm of the Elderlings. This is such a phenomenal fantasy series. Humble beginnings. Yeah, our main character, Fitzchivalry, he is an illegitimate son, and he's basically abandoned by his mom and maternal grandfather. He's basically abandoned by them to strangers that he's never met before, and he is taken, we'll say, he's taken in begrudgingly, not out of love, and he's made to be a stable boy. So that's pretty much his low beginnings, and I don't really want to say where he ends up because honestly I don't know where he ends up because I haven't finished the series, but he does have quite the story to tell. So I highly recommend this. This is definitely high fantasy, but I really love Assassin's Apprentice and this whole series thus far. Question number 5, The Heavenly Host Singing, a book with a musical theme. Okay, so first of all, I'm not really drawn to music in life in general. So I think that's why I'm not drawn to music in books. So it was really hard to find. There was my favorite book, which is The Princess and the Goblin. There is a pivotal part where music is essential, but it's only in a small part. So it's not really part of the theme of the book. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly. This is middle grade. This has to do with a young girl who is deaf, and she learns in school about this whale. I'm not even sure if this whale is real. I feel like it might be. I feel like the whole whale part of the story might be true. I don't know for sure. But anyway, this girl in school, she learns about this whale off in some ocean that is being tracked by scientists because he was born with a different song. So whales communicate with each other by their song. And this whale, his song doesn't translate to the other whales. So he's essentially cut off from his whole species because he doesn't sing the same song as them. So she really connects with that idea. She tries to make a connection with the whale. We'll just leave it there. It's a really good book. I like this one. Yeah, it's a good middle grade. I would recommend this one. Next question. The Shepherds and the Sheep, a story that contains an animal. We're gonna go with Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This is an adult sci-fi, not Christian, but this has to do with a man, what's his name, Charlie. He has been born with an unusually low IQ, and this follows him around in his life as you would expect. But he gets chosen to be a part of this experiment that some scientists are putting on to try and see if their experiment can help increase a person's IQ. So Charlie goes through this process, and it does actually help. But there are some interesting tangents that happen because he now has a higher IQ than he used to, significantly higher. So that's kind of what this book is about, and the animal part is the mouse. The mouse is actually named Algernon, and the mouse is a character that Charlie has connected with because these tests and others like it are being done on mice like Algernon. And so Charlie really connects with this mouse. Yeah, I'll just say that. So there's that one. Question 7, The Three Wisemen, a story that involves travel. I'm gonna go with Off-World by Robin Parrish. This is the first and only Robin Parrish I've ever read, but I really liked it. This is Christian science fiction. This one involves travel because there are a couple, there's a small crew anyway, who have been on, I feel like it was Mars, but they were on another, yeah, Mars. And they are now on their home voyage from Mars. So Mars to Earth, that's pretty significant travel, I would say. And they try to connect with like the tower on Earth or base on Earth, and no one's responding to their messages and their calls, so they attempt an entry without assistance, and there's nobody here. The Earth is empty. There's no humans left on the Earth, and they're like, what happened? Where is everybody? So they not only have the Mars to Earth travel, but also wherever they land, because they couldn't pinpoint where they landed, so they just landed wherever. Now they have to travel to get to their home base so they can maybe see what's going on. So they have that travel on Earth as well. So I think this one works really well, and I really like this book. Question number 8, Gold, a book with gold on the cover. I'm gonna go with Incredible Creatures and Creations of the Bible. This is a really beautiful book. It's like this fake leather binding, but it has beautiful illustrations and descriptions and Bible references of different creatures that the Bible mentions. So this is the bejeweled angel. So yeah, super interesting. Some of these creatures are like, wow, I didn't know that kind of a creature was in the Bible, but that's cool. So like, there's this big sea creature. It's really beautiful illustrations. A unicorn. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested in checking out some of those Bible references, because this is a really cool book. And the gold foil on the cover, I'm sure you guys have been able to see it throughout this video. Question 9, Frankincense, a book that was gifted to you. I'm gonna go with, since it's Christmas time, Letters from Father Christmas. This one also has gold foiling on the cover, so it could work for that. This is by J.R.R. Tolkien. These are his letters to his kids, I believe. So beautiful handwritten letters here. I have not read this one yet, but this was gifted to me by the amazing Miriam at Miriam Elizabeth Reads. I will leave her link down below as well. Definitely check out her channel. She is a sweetheart, and I love this book so much. So thank you again, Miriam. Question 10, Myrrh, a book that made you cry. I don't have a book for this because I've never cried while reading a book. Never. So yeah. I would be curious if any of you guys have recommendations for books that would make me cry. I don't know. I've seen Emily do this over at Books with Emily Fox. She did a whole reading vlog from books that her subscribers thought she would cry from. She did a whole reading vlog. I'm debating doing something similar, but I don't really know if I want to be crying, so I'm not really sure. Question 11, Mary and Joseph, a book with a big surprise. Okay, so I really like the way that Lou approached this question, because like she said, it's kind of hard to, I mean, I guess most thrillers or crime novels, most of them have a twist that the author has tried to get you on. So I guess anything there could probably work. But what she did was she took a book that had the big surprise at the beginning of the book so that it wasn't a spoiler. So I'm gonna go with Waterfall by Lisa T. Berggren. This is Christian fantasy. This is this young girl and her sister. Things happen, okay? And she touches something, and then instantly she's transported, and she like opens her eyes or wakes up, I guess, and she's in the medieval era, in the middle of a battle. So, shocker, right? Like, you don't think you're gonna just zap into the past, but this girl does, and now she has to survive in the medieval times, and she is kind of a fish out of water. So, yeah, this was a really good book. I liked it. The last prompt is Jesus, the story with the most Christian content. I also found this one difficult because I'm not really sure. So I think this is the first one that came to my mind, and it's the only one that feels like it fits the most for my collection. So this is the This Present Darkness and Piercing the Darkness duology by Frank Peretti. It doesn't have to be read as a duology. You could probably read them as standalones, but this is a series about spiritual warfare. You get the perspective of the spirit world. So you see the angels and the demons in regular life. So you get the human life perspective, and then you get the flip side as to what's happening in the spirit world at the same time. So the kind of influences or the presence that are around during different things. This is a really powerful duology. I should definitely reread it again because I really enjoyed it. And Frank Peretti is a master at spiritual warfare. He can write it so vividly, and it's just amazing. So I recommend this duology. And I think that it kind of makes sense, like, because this book is, like, that's the main focus, is spiritual warfare, so Christian content, that fits, right? So the last thing is to tag some people. I know Lou tagged a whole bunch of people, so I'm going to tag Bethany at Bethany Brings Books, Caitlin at Chronicles of a Book Nerd, Jane at Jane Reads, Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia, and Amanda at The Curly Reader. I'm going to tag these ladies to do this. And that's it for the Christmas Nativity book tag. Thank you, Lou, for putting time into this to make this really great Christmas tag. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to hearing all of your guys' answers, whether you make a YouTube video or just in the comments below or on an Instagram post or whatever. That'd be really fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!